Republican Nikki Haley's presidential campaign is already off to a bit of a rough start. Just hours after launching her campaign, the former South Carolina governor had some trouble trying to tell Republicans of why they should vote for her instead of anyone else.
If you had to delineate where, say, you and President Trump differ on issues, where would you start?
Well, first, let's say in reference to Whoopi, the thought of me getting into the race makes the liberals' heads explode. And so I welcome it because it shows we're doing something right. When it comes to what we're looking at now, listen to the first 20 minutes of your show. Look at everything that's wrong in this country and tell me we don't need new leadership. But the difference is we need new generational leadership. We have to leave the status quo. We have to leave this chaos behind. And we've got to start talking about the future. You need a Washington outsider that's going to come in.
I had to stop it there because that went on for about 3 minutes. Yeah. You need a Washington outsider because look at all the problems caused by Joe Biden and the leftist Democrats. By the way, I just want to address, the statement where she says, just what people said. My entering the race makes the liberals' heads explode. Really? No, it actually doesn't. Look, the truth of the matter is that she's got absolutely no chance. No chance in the Republican primary. But we'll get to more of that. But, all right, her response, though, was a lot of words. Many words. But not really answering the question. In fact, she clearly dodged it. And there's a reason for that, of course. Nikki Haley she said, but funny enough, she paints herself as an outsider. No, there's nobody more inside the Republican Party than Nikki Haley. I mean, come on. And again, she's a consummate weather vane politician, going back and forth, criticizing Trump sometimes, and coming back and sucking up. And, she's basically an established Republican. She's trying to have it both ways, right? Now, being an establishment Republican, we really don't even have to have her answer the question about the policies she believes in. We already know. More tax cuts for the rich, more deregulation for corporations, more cuts in social spending, the safety net. All right, there we go. So the question is, what's she bringing to the table for Republicans in a primary that would get them to vote for her? Well, she had a chance to answer, again, because Sean Hannity wasn't letting it go. And, here's how that went.
Let me go back to my original question, though, because anybody that is looking or seeking a nomination, you're going to be comparing and contrasting your policy positions, your views, what direction you want to take the country with your competitors. Right now, there's former President Trump is the only other candidate for the nomination. We expect many others, maybe even Mike Pompeo, who was on earlier in the program today. Where do you see, if you see, policy differences beyond what you mentioned, which are generational differences? What specific policy areas would you say part with Donald Trump?
What I am saying is I don't kick sideways. I'm kicking forward. Joe Biden is the president. He's the one I'm running against. And what I'm saying is you don't have to be 80 years old to be president.
She has to know this. She's running in a primary. You kind of have to fight with other Republicans in order to win the primary. You're not running against Joe Biden right now. Look, so she's got to make a case to Republican voters why they should vote for her instead of Donald Trump. And so far, the only thing that she has is, look at me, I'm young. Oh, okay. Now, she's also a couple of other things. She's obviously a woman and obviously is an immigrant. Now, the reason that she doesn't stress that too much, and that said, she did come out and say, I am a proud daughter of immigrants. Okay. But she doesn't really you know, focus too much on that. She's focusing more on the, look at me, I'm young, I'm a fresh new face. Well, she doesn't talk about, or focus on the fact that, she's a woman so much, because that's going to count against her in the Republican primary. Her entire campaign slogan is, I'm young, you're old. During her announcement, she called for mandatory mental competency tests for politicians over the age of 75. Oh, okay.
Person, woman, man, camera, TV.
That for everybody. Yes, everybody. And so, look, I don't know if, going after older people is going to really do a whole lot with the Republican base, who happens to, a big majority of it happens to be over 65. Look, younger people are more progressive. Gen Z, millennials, overwhelmingly progressive. They're not going to look at Nikki Haley and be like, I'm a Republican now. We have a young, fresh face that's going to do the same things that other Republicans do. Look, that's her angle, though. I'm the young, diverse face of the Republican Party. And young people are going to look at her and say, and? Ooh, different face, same boot. The same boot that's using the same, again, Republican policies. And by the way, that's why she won't go and name them. Millennials and Gen Z are not interested in the status quo. Even with a new face, it's the same old thing. And by the way, what I include in that same old thing is the same old, again, pro-corporate policies, of course, with every Republican, but also homophobia. Her first rally included Pastor John Hagee, who back in 2015 had attacked same-sex marriage. Yeah. And then back in 1999, Hagee also told his congregation, and this will play well with the Jewish community, quote, God sent Adolf Hitler to help Jews reach the promised land. That is the person that she said, I hope I grow up to be just like you. That's what Nikki Haley told Pastor John Hagee. Furthermore, she had refused to take down the Confederate flag from the South Carolina State House. That's just a couple of months before the Charleston Massacre. And so she's got a pretty terrible history there. All right. The only difference, though, between Nikki Haley and the rest of the Republican Party is that, again, it's not even a difference, right? But I should say with Trump, right? So she doesn't want to change the policies of the Republican Party or even the policies of Donald Trump. She wants to put that veneer back up. Okay? She wants to put the nicer face back on the Republican Party to hide the, Confederate flags and the swastikas that are, behind it. All right? Now, that's after Donald Trump ripped the facade off and, exposed who they are. She wants to put that nice, that nice little facade back up and pretend to be like, oh no, we're the new Republican Party, and we're the diverse Republican Party, and look at me, I'm a woman. Is your head exploding yet, liberals? No. So the thing is, if she's running like that, she's gonna get obliterated.